but it's not as long, and it doesn't have this wide vertical up top here.
Yeah.
So that's,
When you squint your eyes, that first one pops out and punches you in the face, where the others, you see them, but they kind of fade away a little bit, right?
right.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to say is dominant.
Keep your mark there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Great job.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Donna.
Okay, second student who is working on the dominant horizon. Could you come to the front of the class?
Actually, hold on, Donna. We're going to do the dominant diagonal.
Oh, diagonal. Okay.
Horizontal and the arabesque are a little tricky on this one.
Dun, da, da, da. You guys want to see it?
Martin, a diagonal is a diagonal, not a horizontal.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Wait.
All right, that's me.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out.
Someone is going to stay after school today.
I'll stay
Who did that? Who's doing the diagonal? Speak up.
Me. That's me.
Martin.
Okay, honey.
There it is.
Feels right to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want to give it away, but I already see what's going on. So,
Donna,
Yes.
do you agree that diagonal is in the best place?
Well, actually, I was questioning that. I was always wondering if it's
First of all,
that.
is it the right diagonal? No, it's not that.
Huh?
It's not that.
Okay, I'll erase it.
Would we agree that it's the right diagonal or the right direction?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Victor, could you please just control this class? Please, please.
I am controlling.
I'm only going
it.
to frustrate. I know, but you're only going to frustrate. I'm only going to frustrate you.
I ain't
I just-
frustrated. I'm having a blast. That looks perfect to me. Who just did that?
that's
There we
me.
go. Yeah.
Good job there, Martin.
I know I had it off just a little bit.
Now, my confusion with the diagonal, which I've been kind of floundering with, is I understand sinister lines and the opposite diagonal. But here I see it's also smaller diagonal. So what exactly is the criteria you use where these
A
diagonals?
sinister and a Baroque diagonal just
Baroque, yeah.
determine the direction.
Okay,
Okay, sinister means left in Italian.
right.
So you're coming from the left to the right, right? So, and you're coming down to the right. So if you're going the opposite way, you're going Baroque. It triggers a different emotion. So a Baroque is going to allow you to come into. It's going to invite you in. It's going to be welcoming. A sinister is going to be something that's more solemn, secret, sacred. Okay.
Right. So now is this diagonal right here considered a sinister diagonal, or is it just diagonal?
There is no diagonal. It's either a sinister or it is a Baroque, unless it's a horizontal or vertical.
Right.
Right.
So this is a sinister then that we're talking about, right?
That's a sinister diagonal, yes. Now, is there any other diagonal that's stronger, more in your face, that's more prominent and dominant? And squint your eyes before answering that question. Squint your eyes. Is there any that's longer, stronger, harder, more dominant than that?
Not that I see.
We'll take your silence as a collective no. So we'll just say that one Martin did well on, okay? Now, Martin, you could extend it further.
Yeah, down the skirt.
Ooh, be careful. Valentine's Day. No, you can't go down the skirt because this diagonal shoots here. Okay, it changed.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is, if you come up here, you can go through these little points. Okay.
Oh.
and then they add to that. Another diagonal. See, this is actually a radiating point. Okay, you could come if you bring, actually it's about here. You come here, you can see how all that neck hair, all of this, the back of the arm, the nose, the eye, the hand, the fingers, all of that is being
Victor,
constructed.
in last week's painting, we talked about the dominant horizontal and how it stopped because the charge changed, even though it looked like it could have continued on, right? I don't know if you recall, but we're talking about was, but so I'm wondering here with the dominant diagonal, the charge definitely changes with our heads and then the windows, but it can continue up through the windows though?
It could. I mean, it's doing that. It's going through those little points. But in terms of the story, because you always got to come back to the story, what Martin laid down is good. It could go further. It's not necessary that it goes further. Is there really a diagonal that's bigger or longer or stronger than that one?
I'm feeling like there is, but I don't know. Should I draw what I think?
You can try.
I mean, I'm probably wrong, but who knows? There's something about this that's just hitting me with this particular thing, and you know what's going on. Hold on. Where's my arrows? Okay. Ah, great. How do I get rid of my name?
Press clear. The little trash can up at the top.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Need to show the world. Okay. Now what am I thinking here? Let me just try it and see what I'm feeling. This is something that I'm feeling, but I may be totally wrong. Going up through these corners. It's kind of what I'm feeling, but I could.
Yeah, that's not working.
Okay.
I mean, if just imagine, run your eye along that. There's no story in it.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
I guess what's throwing me is that with the sinister, when we saw Jesus and Thomas, that all this went dark, and this is throwing me again, where you didn't see this side, you were contained in this section. And so then in this section, I'm not even really, to me, seeing the face of the woman. So that's what's throwing me about the sinister thing. You understand where I'm getting lost?
Well, look above the sinister. There's a change of charge, right? It's everything's very light.
Right.
Everything under that sinister is what?
Dark. Okay.
Right.
So that's how you.
There's a difference between the young woman and the old woman.
Absolutely. Okay. So basically, it doesn't, like if I'm going based on the Jesus painting, I'm thinking it has to be light here and all dark here. And that's what threw me with the sinister. But it actually is just a change of charge. Gotcha.
Well, in this case, it is.
In this case, yeah.
Every painting is a different formula. We're using the same rules for the most part.
Right.
And the rule really is,
yeah,
you want to find that dominant diagonal, the dominant vertical, and every question, you're always going to come back and say, well, how does it relate to the story? How does it relate to the story? At this point, we haven't really figured out what the story is.
Right.
So the easiest way to do that is just find your first three, your horizontal, vertical, and diagonal, because those are straight lines. It become a lot easier to figure out.
Yeah, it's just the confusion I have with the diagonal. The vertical I don't have problems with. Horizontal, not so much. It's the diagonal that throws me a bit, but I'm starting to get it. So I hear what you're saying.
So, Donna, since we brought up the horizontal, you like that segue? That was
yeah, awesome.
Since she brought it up, why don't you move us to the next step?
Donna.
Okay, who's the horizontal student?
Susan.
Just a minute. I gotta get my annotation. It's either that or it's this, but I kind of think it's both.
Oh, snap-alicious. Why would you say it's both? Oh, I'm sorry. Donna, why don't you ask that question?
Oh, okay. Why would you say it's both? Which one is firmer? If you squint your eye.
No. You're going too far. Just ask the question. Why would you say both?
Why would you say it is both?
Because it's not so much just the line, it's that bright curtain that's just pulling you all the way across and right through both faces. So you have this beautiful lightness of reflection just pulling you across the two faces.
Great job, Susan. You're absolutely spot on right. And that's why I was saying it's a little trickier because in this case, it's just not a single line. It's a space. It's a section of the painting. That's why it's called a thrust. It's not called a dominant line.
Yes.
See, this vertical, we can see like it's really that thickness, right, that's coming down. But the thing is that thickness, if you come down, it ends at the woman's head and it comes down into the chair, which isn't as thick. So it's really that's more of a line that's being drawn, right, a direction. This is giving us more of a gap, more of a space, and it's very, very thick horizontal stroke. If we convert this to 3 colors, black, white, is what we call a note in design, you can see that's exactly what the artist intended.
Mm-hmm. That vertical shows up very nicely too.
Oh yeah, the vertical. I'm going to erase your diagonal real quick, Martin, just so that we can see the diagonal. You can see in that hand, it's coming through. It's being mimicked back here in the back of the chair.
It's caught right there.
Yeah. I'm going to put it back now.
Generally speaking, does the diagonal usually intersect somewhere in the picture plane with the horizontal and or vertical?
It can. Doesn't have to. The rule isn't which 3 converge. The rule is that 3 need to converge to find your either 3, 4, or 5 of these elements have to converge so that you know what the subject really is. Now, let me ask you this question. Karen.
Okay.
Who is the subject, the old woman or the young girl playing the piano?
The old woman.
Why would you dare say that? Audacity and authority do you have to say such a thing?
Well, all the dominant lines are intersecting on her.
Oh, you're saying the design is telling you the story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you're not bullshitting, you're not BSing, you're not making stuff up, you're not just, had bad pizza last night and this is what you're seeing. You didn't go smoke something funny. None of that. The design has articulated to you who or what in this image is of great importance. The artist told you
Where to look.
because that doesn't happen accidentally.
Mm-mm. You would think that the
that's
child
by design.
Yeah, because you would think the child playing the piano was the subject, but it's not.
And most of the time, if you just look at the image, then you start looking for symbolism. Well, yeah, it's about the story. It's about the girl playing the piano.
Right.
That's why you need to look at the design, and then it starts to reveal what the real story is. So, Ruth,
I know.
Donna wants to ask you a question.
Donna, yes, teacher.
She's not a teacher. She's just a Donya.
Donya, please tell me. Ask me.
Ruth, dear, where is the dominant arabesque?
Lord have mercy.
Give it a shot.
I'm going to give it a shot. All right, I'm just going to follow my intuition.
Before you do
That's wrong. Stop. I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong. I'm gonna remove everything at this point. Okay.
Okay, because it's
So, yeah. Okay. So now take a look for those that curve that's moving through there.
Well, I basically see a curve like this, to be honest with you. Something like that. I could be totally off wrong, but because there's this arc of the heads, comes down through here, through the skirts, and back up. But if it's an arabesque, the other feeling I get is like that. Well, let me clear all these. I'm getting really confused.
All right. Let me give you a little direction.
Like this.
let me give you a little direction.
All right.
This may not be the overwhelming.
Arabesque.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at it, and I mean, because the reality is, when you start doing an arabesque and you really want just the eye to flow through an image, you could. What you want to do is look for the curves and just kind of start figuring them out. You start saying, "Oh, here there's a curve." You kind of feel a curve in here.
Right, there's
Okay.
a curve here.
And then you say, okay, look at this wraps into here. This could come around here. This could come here.
Okay. Now I see it. Okay.
Okay. So that's
look for the curves first.
Hold on 1 second. So this could be the arabesque. I mean, and it makes sense because the design is telling you that these things are uniting. Okay.
Exactly.
But this is just allowing our eye to move around the picture nicely.
Right.
Okay. So this isn't what we're looking for.
Gotcha.
What we're looking for is something that's far more meaningful to the story. And there is a small set of curves that move through this image. We know that this here,
right, and this is a curve
here, and we know that this here and here, we have, and then she's a high point of contrast, right? So in a way, we already know that there are 4 dominant thrusts.
All going to her.
So now we're looking for that 5th one. So look around, and what set of curves work together that help us relate to the story or understand the story?
I'm trying. There's this kind of thing going on. There's a curve here.
If you need to dial a friend, you can. Okay, keep going.
Dial a friend.
Curve here. I don't know.
Don't say that. If I'm not trying to correct you, then you're good. Do that again. Put that.
Right.
Curve in
Let
the
me put
chat.
it back in here. Okay. I had the one here. There's one here. Small one here.
All right, we're gonna stop you there. Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna let you have one more try.
Okay.
Think horizontally. Okay.
Think horizontally.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay, I know that I had this one once. I got that one. Definitely get it.
Think horizontally.
Think this way. Okay. Is that there?
Okay. Let me step in.
Okay, please.
All right. This is a tricky one, but you'll see the magic of it, okay?
Yeah.
Do you see the top of the curtain's almost very straight?
Yes.
Okay. There is a slight curve
Right
coming in here. Let me get my annotation tools here.
Okay.
There's a slight curve coming in right there.
Got it.
Then this curve on top, and then this kind of comes down a little bit. Then this curve on top.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the bottom here, we have a curve here. We have this one. We have a reverse curve there. We come up here, right?
Yeah.
This comes here. This is a small curve here. This comes across. This comes through here.
Yeah.
This comes through there like that. Okay. And you look now. Allow your eye to move along that edge.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, Karen? What does that make you feel when your eye moves up and down and up? What was that?
Rhythm.
I'm sorry, Karen. What was that?
Well, it's just music. The sound of the music, the notes, the music coming out of the piano.
Yeah.
Rhythm.
You like that, Martin?
No, I see another one. That probably, you guys probably ain't seen it. And that's a good one. Very good. But I see another one that's relates to the story. Let me show you.
Oh, you think we're done, huh?
Oh,
All right, I'll let you go with it. Let's
Okay.
see. Go on.
So here she is, right? And what's she doing? She's looking behind her. She's guiding her. Watch this. Whoop, right down to the hands, even down to through this line. Because what's she doing? She's helping her. She's watching her play music. She's guiding her. So this is what I was seeing. Why is this little post here? Why is this little? It's very hidden. I mean, it's just.
I'm gonna give you another alternative for what you're looking at.
All right.
Okay, which is not the story, but it's a sub story. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you're looking at a sub story right now. The primary story, and then we'll talk about that after I reveal what the primary story is. And Karen, this is one reason why I don't give you the title in the beginning. I never like looking at the name of the artist or the title. I only like looking at the date in which the artist lived because that tells me that they were trained or not trained. Okay, we're not down there, Susan. There's nothing in the feet that's important.
No, but I can see this like curving. Curve.
All right. Before let me finish this here, so that we can get the magic of the piece, and then we can look at some other things. Okay. So what we have here is this curve coming through here, coming up, coming through here, coming up, and we also have it here, right? Now notice that in this image that's basically black and white and gray with a little bit of red in it, all of a sudden we just have, once you come out of the top of her head, we have this beautiful floral blossoming pink flowers connecting right to her head.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, we have a little tree that's moving vertical, but it has no flowers. So I want to show you something here. This is made of horizontal thrusts. This little curve is made of this diagonal. Would you agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me come here. All right. Do you see the energy charge that's different from here to here?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah. So for this girl, she's growing up. She hasn't flowered yet, right? She's just learning the music. She's trying to memorize the music. Okay? Yeah. This woman has this beautiful flowering bush behind that's connected to her head. The name of this painting is an old song.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So this image is about, this little girl, the young girl trying to memorize and learn this song, but it's really about, because the design tells us, it is about this older woman remembering the memories of this song. So this flower represents her memory.
Yeah.
I
knew I was drawn to that flower for a reason, but I couldn't figure it out. Now I know.
I want everybody. Hold on one second, Karen. I want everybody thinking about your body language. I want you to just in your head, like, tell yourself when you're remembering something. Okay, or let's do this. Let's say it out loud. Ruth,
I look in the distance in a sense. I lean my head and I look in the distance or inward, one of the two.
Okay, so the first part of what you just did was all talk.
Yeah.
Your body language did something very different.
Like that.
When you said inward was the first time you made body language. Susan.
Yes.
Tell yourself to remember something.
Then I close my eyes.
No, I'm telling you to tell yourself to remember something.
Tell myself to remember something.
What is it that you want to remember? What part of your life? You don't have to kind of think about the memory. I'm trying to get you to communicate to yourself about remembering something.
Valentine's Day.
I don't know.
All right.
Remember,
Just repeat what I just said. Susan, remember something.
Susan, remember something.
Okay. Did you lean forward or did you lean backwards when you said that?
I
Say it
don't-
again. Say it again.
Susan, remember something. I lean forward.
That time you did.
No, you leaned
You lean
backward.
backwards.
First time you lean backwards.
Thank you for telling me. I
When
don't
when your body was speaking authentically, you lean back.
Remember something.
When you were trying to force it out of your head, you lean forward.
Right.
Right? So this is why you got to become very, very self-aware of your body. When I talk about memory, I notice that my hand it twists like this and it goes backwards. That's what that flower is. It's that energy. It's that body language going back.
Mhm.
When Ruth talked about memory, she went like this. Inward and back. When you were authentic in talking about it, you went back. So the body is saying back. Memory is back. It ain't forward. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why that flower is going horizontally back. And it also has this neat little arabesque that's flowing through it as well. Now, when you're growing up, what did I just do with my hand? When you're growing up,
Lifting.
yeah, and what's interesting is it comes out on an angle. It doesn't go straight up. That's uncomfortable. It comes out on an angle, which is what that flower, what that plant is doing in the front.
Yeah, at an angle.
Now there is another thing in this image that I want to show you guys, but Karen, what were you looking at? What were you thinking?
In relationship also to what you were talking about, that's not quite.
That's pretty.
Hold on. And it coming down, following this line, hitting this red spot, going up through her hand, following the music, and going up the tree.
Can you draw?
Yep. Now, what's interesting is you're starting from here. Okay. Oh, crap. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can undo that. I'm sorry. I thought I had the draw tool on. I had the erase tool. So you went like this, right? So up through the tree.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is when we start up here, okay?
Mhm.
And our eye, you can see this diagonal coming in, coming across. It hits here, verticals here. So this is telling our eye to come to here. Anything above, under this horizontal, if you're over in this section, let's say you're here, look at the design. Where is it telling us to go? Up. There's a lot of, there is this here that's coming back to her as well. So either eye is going to go up or it's going to come here. Okay. When it gets here, you can see the lean. It's going to push us back over to the book anyways. Okay. The hands, all that's going to come back to the book. This paper, if you're looking down in this section over here, boom, 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 it shoots you back over in that direction. This shoots you in that direction. All of these diagonals shoot you over into this direction. So his goal is not for you to look at the picture from here, but he wants you to start here from the book. Okay? Once you start from the book, now you can see this diagonal coming to the girl, which creates this tension because her diagonal of her face is the same as the book's. So she's really focusing. She's resonating with that, with that energy between there, that space between there. Okay.
Mhm.
From there, we feel that curve coming in.
Mhm.
And that curve is then taking us through this experience here.
Mhm.
Okay. So she's studying.
Mhm.
She's remembering and reminiscing and enjoying what her granddaughter or her daughter is doing, or her student or whoever it is. But this is called an old song. It's not called the piano lesson, right?
Right.
So we know that if our energy was going this way, then it would be about this old lady giving knowledge to the young one, maybe playing the piano through her young hands. But that's not the way the energy flows, right? It flows the other direction.
Mhm.
Now, what's also interesting is if you look up here in this bird cage, you see that shape?
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 little areas here. Now, these all coming down to this book area, to this space between the girl and the her playing that music,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. The curve here, Martin, that you see here,
Mm-hmm.
coming over here. Look at that.
Yeah.
She's in a bird cage.
Oh,
wow.
Huh.
Canary.
How did you figure that, Don Victor? How did you figure that one out?
Can't tell you all my secrets. You
Come
gotta,
on.
you
I
gotta
mean,
read the book.
really, like that is so darn deep.
And what's interesting is if you come from the bird, the angle of the bird, it comes to her, but the cage goes to the girl.
Hmm.
Wow.
Now, I mean, you look at that bird cage; it had to be designed in there.
Yeah.
The designer, and you know this because you've gone through the process of making intelligent decisions. You don't put a bird cage in there if it's not relevant to the story.
True.
That little girl ain't free. She's not playing the music. She's not in love with the music. She's practicing her scales, you know, she's learning. Now she'll grow into the love of that and she'll play like a, you know, wonderful whatever. But at this time in her life, you know, she's learning.
Yeah, she's in training.
She's in training.
She's learning the discipline, and the
She's
discipline is, in my
exactly.
opinion, the bird cage.
Yes. Exactly. And think about the bird. He used to be wild once singing his song.
Oh yeah.
She
That's
used to be wild once singing her song. So, yeah, this is a nice piece there, Donna.
Oh, I'm so glad. Good.
Any last comments, peeps, before we move on to some critique? I like that. All right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Wait a minute. I want to make a little thought because this is like the second or third time I've looked at this painting. I love this particular color note, which is so unusual, and it's maybe the purest green blue. I'm going to see if I can hold on.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Draw right, draw right here, maybe right there. How beautiful that sudden transition is.
Mm.
It just took a note. Like, wow, that it was so deliberate. That little.
Oh, there it is. Yes, got it.
This is very warm, and all of a sudden you have that
blue color,
and it's just so poetic. It's so beautiful. I don't know why I think he did it to emphasize and maybe to balance maybe this over here, so this wasn't the only pure color. And I don't know. It's just a thought. What do you think, Don Victor?
It makes sense to me. You know, you have a complement. So, you know, the green, and then you have this lively pink, you know, as the memory. And
it's not heavy either. It's a lighthearted memory too.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It's hold on. I'm going to draw a class on the chalkboard.
Okay.
It's gay.
What?
Gay. It's a gay tune, meaning in the proper sense of the word.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something charming about this music that we find there.
Yeah.
And one other thought, which is really cool. This is so interesting because it's such like a blobby, warm note. It's repeated here, I suppose. But how beautiful that little warm note is. Just warm. It's like almost like the warmth of her body.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny. They asked that last night, and you know, I was up at 2:30 the night before. So by the time the 9 o'clock came rolling around, I couldn't really think of anything. But now it's very clear to me that you would put that warm note, because the music, like we were saying, isn't a depressive thing. It's a nice, it's something that she wants to reminisce about. And so maybe in her body, she feels warm. She feels hugged. She feels, it just gives that sensation of a nice, this music is hugging her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's like stirred. She's like stirred to life. Like there's a certain.
Yeah, there's a lot
like
of
the fire has been turned up.
Yeah, exactly. And so in this big mass of her, there's these moments of just these. It's almost like a glowing warmth and a subtle warmth in her. And maybe
Can I make one? Can I make one more comment?
I'm
Victor,
not sure.
Victor, just one. Victor. Let me just make one more comment because I'm obnoxious. Interestingly, she's in black, and for me, it's a little bit like she's nearing the end of her life, in my opinion. There's a certain death coming upon her. Now, you could say, no, that's ridiculous, but she could have had a blue shawl. But she's mostly the cape and that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
There's a certain coming to the end of her life aspect in that dark cape. Anyone else feel that?
Yeah, I feel a heaviness, or the maybe more the maturity than anything else in the youth contrapposed. But I do feel kind of more the latter stage of life, Donna, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's so dramatic, especially when
it's all somber. Yeah.
Yeah, it's somber, especially when you compare it to the gaiety of the flowers behind her head. That's like such a dramatic contrast. Huge. Thanks, Victor.
Green also, going back into color symbolism, which I know you don't care for too much, Victor, but green obviously symbolizes growth. So the green above music there could point to that as well.
Mm.
Right.
Growth, birth, life.
Give me 1 second here, guys. Okay. What I'm trying to do is remove the green and see how it changes the image.
Mm.
Sometimes you'll bring in a color like that because it brings out color in the other colors that are in the piece.
Mm.
And by removing it, this looks basically dull and lifeless.
Mm-hmm.
And just having that little fling, that little blue green activates the orange in that area. On a technical aspect of it, I would agree in terms of symbolism with what Karen is saying. My only concern with symbolism is that it's subjective to knowing what the symbol means. All right. But that's also like the cloak being black and being represented by death. I think she's probably closer to death because she's old, than necessarily what she's dressed in per se. Let me see something here.
And that could be something with the age when it was like, what was it, 1800s? Images?
Yeah. Well, not even then. I mean, you look at a Norman Rockwell painting, and the young girl has her legs exposed. The mom has a longer dress, and the grandmother dresses down to the ground. Mm-hmm. So the younger lady shaved all her legs. The mom shaved up to the knees, and the grandmother was like a beast, right? But also the color. The young girl had like a white dress on, and the mom had. And I say young girl, I mean like, late teens, early 20s. The mom has, something a little more decorative on, and then the old lady is dressed in black, right? So that was only 50 years ago or whatnot, So it's just a cultural thing that, that they do that as well. And if you go walking around the Amish people, it's very similar. You know, it's they don't really have too many colors and stuff, but some of the younger people wear, you know, a green shirt, a pink shirt. And the old ladies, they're just black.
Don't be showing up with no neon. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Woo!